fair, the game hasn't turned into a Vietnam shooter, right? We do have more foliage, more trees. You have to be careful when you have forests in your shooters because jungles are very, very difficult environments. So we do have more lush environments, but we still have to have conveniently placed chest-high walls of cover so that the players have safe spots to get behind. One of my favorite environments that we teased in with the reveal trailer was one called Char. It's an old city that was hit so hard with the Hammer of Dawn strikes years ago that it was turned essentially to ash, and then people are frozen at that moment that they were at their death, kind of like the old ruins of Pompeii. Yeah, that's the, yeah. And we also are unveiling a section called Mercy, which is kind of a Spanish villa type of town. I don't know if you had a chance to see the Beast Mode demonstration we have downstairs, but it feels very much like this kind of a, Spanish tile roof, stucco type of environment with, very, very lush foliage kind of around it. Kind of feels like Gears, but something slightly evolved, which is what we're going for. Since it is the dead of summer now.
Do you like active? Did you go out to Spain? Do you go to the countries to look at?
What, for that kind of research?
Yeah.
The last couple times I've been in Spain, I've been on a 5-city European press tour where I'm basically in each city for 12 hours. But I have spent a little bit of time in Barcelona, and I would love to go back there. Didn't realize there's a weird rivalry between Madrid and Barcelona, which I was asked from journalists which one I prefer, which I think I got in trouble there. But come the time when this game is finished, I'd love to just go to various locations, go to Italy, go to Tuscany, go to various parts of Spain, and just get the hell out of the States. Run away from the oil.
Days of Venice, man, it's the best movies.
I've heard bad things, to be honest.
They're going to
Here it's gotten so very touristy that nobody actually lives there anymore. That at night all the lights are shut off because everyone leaves.
a little bit like that, but like if you go out to the further islands, it's like go to restaurants that only Italians.
That's anytime I find any sort of restaurant, I like it when I'm the only. I walk in and everybody turns around going, "What's he doing here?" And restaurants where nobody speaks English, usually the food is quite good, and that's what the locals eat, as opposed to TGI Fridays. How do we get on that? I don't know.
There will be a very strong scene, like in the second one when he killed his wife.
Oh, as far as narrative moments?
That.
Yeah, so Dominic Santiago had to go through a lot of kind of bad things in regards to finding his wife in the last game, and he's kind of a broken man now. He's got the beard, he's kind of let himself go, he has the updated tattoos, you can really see right there. One thing we want to do is not just make it about Dom's story also. Dom will have his moments in this game, but you'll see the cold train. We'll also have some moments that are very personal to him in regards to going back to some place that's very special for him. For Marcus also, he's in a tough situation, whereas his dad, who he previously thought was dead, has somehow contacted him. And where has he been held this whole time? What is this mystery that's going on there? How is Anya dealing with evolving from being a pencil pusher and a dispatcher to somebody who's having to use her hands to kill Locust and various lambent creatures? So each character kind of has their own little arc in the game now. We're trying to, breathe a little bit more life into all of them.
What about the IA of the other characters when you play? So it's because now you focused much more on co-op. When we play single player, will they be much more involved in the action, or they just will be side?
AI is $1 million question. We generally have found that using a combination of kind of core code-driven artificial intelligence along with heavily scripted sequences generally tends to work. You may have a part where you want the guys to hang back. You may want to have a part where the guys charge. It requires some hand-holding from the designers, as well as a lot of work from coders. And I mean, there's entire talks about GDC constantly every year about AI. So AI just needs to be fun more than anything. Make sure they don't take too many of your kills. Make sure they don't take too few.
It depends on the situations where in some level they could script them to be more aggressive, and in others.
Depending on what the sequence calls for, if it's a heavily scripted moment, or if there's times we need characters to run off to the right so the player's more engaged, it's its own form of sculpting, much like any other parts of design are.
Beast Mode. Haven't seen it.
Oh, we're showing it off downstairs. You should make sure you get in there. It's kind of fun. So we announced that new mode called Beast at the press conference, and originally we were going to explain it at the press conference. Like, hey, we're doing Beast. You just walk away. You're like, what the hell is that, right? But I mean, you can infer, seeing as what the Locust are, what this mode might be. It's a player and up to 4 friends, local or on Xbox Live, playing the various creatures that the locusts have. Everything from the tiny little suicide bomber ticker, all the way up to the boomer, and all the way to the original classic berserker from Gears 1. And it's a class-based, monster-based mode. Team up with the monsters, go in and try and destroy as many of the good guy cog as you can in a certain time period.
So it's like a reverse order.
You could call it that, but I think that kind of cheapens what's in there, because Horde mode didn't really have a class-based game mode. It didn't have the various unique moves that are involved. You play as a Cantus, and you can hit X to revive your buddies around you. You play as this giant, horrible centipede creature that can just blow through defenses. You play as a Berserker who has bad eyesight, but has a special charge attack, right? And it's a lot more work from us from a code standpoint, because each creature has so much custom camera, so many custom moves, so many custom visuals, but it's ultimately worth it because each person likes different class to play as.
When I saw the Lambent, it was like, I guess, my first thought was quite like Resident Evil inside. Is that, would you say that's fair?
I wouldn't say that's as much personally, in my opinion, with the Lambent Berserk. I mean, one could infer a little bit of a similarity maybe with some of the arms that are kind of coming out of the Lambent. I'd say that's a little bit more Thing-inspired than anything from the John Carpenter remake, right? The Berserker, honestly, we wanted to take one of the scariest, most memorable creatures in gaming history and make her even meaner. So when you make her burning up from the inside with tentacles that extruded out of her back and the ability to jump and do all sorts of other surprises, suddenly she gets a lot even cooler and even scarier.
So I noticed as well, it's like a new kind of bear, not James of the bear.
Yeah, that's the old school Pendulum Era Lancer, and that was before they developed the chainsaw. And if you just press it, you get that nice dash, and you can impale people with it. And if you're going to do it against a locust, you need to have like a good 10 to 15 feet to run to get up that kind of speed, which is why they invented the chainsaw in the first place, because you just stand next to somebody, right? But it's fun to do that dash and scream, and then just pick them up and stab them.
Is it just the one fatality? Or is there three values?
Oh, there's different ones for that, whereas if somebody's knocked down, you can use it to kind of stab in different ways, but there's, we call them executions here, as much as the new Mortal Kombat does look great, by the way. They have fatalities, we have executions. We have the Locust has the ability to, of course, rip off somebody's arm and beat him to death with their own arm. Which I've wanted since Gears 1 and 2, and now we finally have it there. Which ties in nicely considering the Locust have gone savage and feral, that they would really be that brutal now that they do that.
You do that if you're playing as well.
Well, that's a Locust exclusive execution. Like, humans can't do that to Locust, that's only Locust to humans.
So, what's the story firstly with secondly, like how can they use Hunting Air weapons?
That's because humanity's all stranded now. It's been 18 months after Gears 2, and the supplies are in rare demand. Every bullet is valuable, every gun that they find they try and keep. Food is incredibly important as well. It's not to say food's going to be a game mechanic, by the way, because I'm never a fan of that, but narratively, Dom's growing crops at the beginning of the game, everybody's helping to kind of pitch in and make sure everybody gets to eat since they're barely eking out survival, and fans have always wanted to see it, right? It was on the cover of the first book, and it just kind of makes sense sometimes to just have another cool gun with a blade on it.